Okay, Don, here we are the first day. So take a look at your grip here. Again, the only thing that good players do that bad players don't do is that control the face. Face has the #1 influence on the ball. The only way to control the face is to control your grip. It's your only connection to it. So you got to make sure that's pretty fundamentally sound right there. We talked about how there's two key important components to a good grip. One is certainly your placement of the hands on the club. The other one being your grip pressure. I'd say for most swings, your grip pressure on a scale of 1 to 10 should be approximately 4 or 5, somewhere around a mid pressure there. If I wanted to curve the ball, if I wanted to make sure that I hit a slice, a ball that kind of curves left to right, I would make sure that I took my grip pressure in my hands and tightened it up. That's going to lock my wrist up a little bit, freeze my forearm a little bit, and go ahead and make it impossible for me to release the face. Conversely, if I want to make sure that I want to hit a big hook here, I'd have to make sure that the grip is a little bit softer, thus enabling me to release the face more. So very important there, making sure the grip pressure is at a constant pace throughout the swing. Take a look at the placement of your hands here. Right hand looks pretty good. Let's kind of bring up a model here, and let's look at how it compares to a fairly neutral grip here. Okay, we have Tiger here on the right. You see these V's here formed by the thumb and index finger certainly going up to the right shoulder. Your right hand on there is pretty good, going in the right direction. Tiger's, although it's covered up by his thumb pad here, I can promise you that V is also going up in that same direction. As a result, I can see a fair amount of logo here on his glove. Your right shoulder, or your left hand rather, looks pretty weak. We call that a weak position, where that V there formed is going up to, maybe your left ear. You need to get that left hand and turn it more on top. If you have issues with that ball curving to the right, higher shots, weaker shots, that would be the #1 place I would look. So we got to get that left hand a little bit stronger, a little bit more on top of the club. This way your hands are kind of facing in the same direction. Tiger's hands facing the same direction. You have one hand going one way, the other hand going the other way. Makes it very difficult to control the grip. We talked about how we got our left hand on there, and that's taking the grip to the side, similar to what a hockey goalie, or how a hockey goalie would take that club in front of him. Same concept there. But pretty good. It's not too far off, but we definitely need to get that a little bit more to the left there. Your left hand more on top of the club. Okay, let's just kind of take a look at the grip here. The overall swing. Let's get a feel for the shape of it. Pretty good balance, good rhythm. You got a lot of speed in your swing. Very good. Very athletic. As we slow it down a little bit. Not bad. Body motion's pretty good. Good sequence there. Let's break it down just a little bit here. Put you over here on the left. Let's bring up another model here. Again, it's always fun to get compared to Tiger. Again, we're not trying to get you to swing like him, although that would probably be pretty good. Just to give you a look at some of the similarities here at setup. Okay, good width of stance. I like the way your feet are placed on the ground, very similar. Ball position looks pretty good, slightly forward of center. I'll draw some lines up here for some more comparison. One of the things we talked about also, look at this spine angle here. Look how it's set up. You're set up in front of the ball. I draw a line up from the ball, and I draw one up from Tiger. He's definitely set up more behind it. Very important for contact and consistency, and certainly a huge power leak would be setting up in front of the ball. So it doesn't mean we want to move the ball position anymore. The difference here, I see Tiger's spine kind of tilted a little bit more to the right or away from the target, and his shoulders have a little bit more pitch to them. I see your spine, pretty vertical at best, and as a result, your shoulders get fairly level. This does two things. Much how like you set up how you take the grip controls, how the face works, the angles you create and set up with your body, for the most part, dictates how your body works. So we do have you set up a little bit in front of it. We just want to lower that right side, get that right shoulder a little lower, a little more behind your head. So if I draw a line up from the ball, it would graze your left ear, as it does Tiger's. That would be the look. Overall, pretty good though. Let's take Tiger up to the top. Pretty good coil, stays with his lower body, stays very stable, well within those lines. His head has certainly moved a little bit to the right, that's fine. We just want to avoid any type of excessive movement up or down. So the head will move a little bit. We encourage that, that's what we want to see. Pretty good coil there. As we take you up to the top. Excellent. Head moved a little to the right, stayed fairly level. Good with the lower body. Looks like you leveraged the ground pretty well there. But again, as a result of his setup, his spine has tilted this way, which allowed him to make a bigger coil. You can see where his right shoulder is behind his head. Because your spine is straight up and down, it looks like it's tilting to the target a little bit, and your right shoulder doesn't quite get behind you. So you don't quite make a big enough turn. Again, that's a direct result of how your spine angle position is set up. As I bring Tiger down to impact, he has a good shift coming into the ball. Very important right here. If we looked at all the models here on the video here, you would see pretty much all of them, very different swings. As we approach down to impact here, you would see this look right here. Shaft leaning forward, flat left wrist. This left arm and this club here form a compression line. Very important for solid, consistent contact. As you bring you down to impact, you can see a little breakdown. You can see your shaft, at best, maybe is vertical. Left wrist and left arm have a little bit of angle or breakdown, and your compression line is compromised here. Very difficult to make consistent contact, and certainly a lot of power leaks right there. So what are some benefits of having the shaft leaning forward? Number one, the more the shaft leans forward, the more I de-loft the club. Tiger over here hitting a 7-iron takes it down and almost de-lofts it or turns it into a 5-iron dynamically. You, if anything, have added loft to your swing. So you have a little lean at setup, and as you come back down to impact, kind of less lean. So you're turning your 7-iron into an 8-iron. Again, huge power leak. As he goes through, definitely turns it over a little bit. Okay, so as we are at impact, again, the shaft kind of leaning back a little bit. As a result, when Tiger goes through, some pretty good extension going through there. Arms crossed over, you can see his glove underneath. He's fully released the club in this position. As you go through, arms break into your body, gloves on top. This is going to create a lot of high, weak shots curving to the right. Not very conducive to distance or consistent contact. Up to the finish. Nice full balance finish. You do a great job of doing that yourself. Not bad. But we can definitely see, as we go through all the models here, it had that same look at impact. Here's Luke Donald as he comes down to impact. Same look. Flat left wrist. Arm straight. His compression line from his shoulder to the club head fully intact there. Jeff Sluman. Same look. Nick Price. Again, same look at impact. For as much as they're different, their swings look differently out there, this is the one position that they all look the same. Even Annika, same look. Flat left wrist, compression line intact. Have to make sure that's, I'd say if you're going to remember anything, that's going to be a big part of improving your overall consistency in your game there. Okay, from this angle right here, what we're looking for is really how the club works. You see your target right down on that red line right there. Alignment tends to look a little bit left for you. You can see with Tiger how I could see a little bit of his left leg over his right. I could see a little bit of his sliver of his left arm over his right. That's telling me that his shoulders and his legs are square to the target, or parallel left. With you, you can see your feet fairly open, going to the left. I can see your shoulders going to the left there as well. Now, why do you do that? Well, because your grip is weak, and the way you release it going through with your face open, if you start the ball at your target, it would curve dramatically here to the right with your open face. So you learn to aim left, so this way you can at least start the ball left and have it fade back to the target. It can be predictable, but again, it's a fairly weak shot, not very inconsistent, so we'd like to change that. So alignment. In an ideal world here with Tiger, we see that green line we drew up. That's his impact line. In a perfect world, we'd like to see that club travel pretty much straight up it. Somewhere up to the top here, it will raise off of it. But coming down, we absolutely have to see that club return directly back onto that line. That's called an on-plane swing. Anything underneath the green line would be called inside. Anything outside or on top of this green line would be considered outside. There is a direct relationship between the quality of your contact and the consistency of your ball flight in regards to this position right here. Once again, like we saw all the pros directly on that line, with impact, with their flat left wrist and the left arm straight, you would see all of them in this exact same position here. They're swinging the club on the angles that the club was designed on. Let's see where yours goes. Pretty good. A little bit inside, not too bad. But you can definitely see how that's pretty severely outside to in. That club is swinging severely across the ball, and you can see as a result, the ball starts left, outside to in. Think about a little cut lob shot in tennis. This is the fashion that your club is working. Your face is open because your grip is weak, as we talked about, and now you're swinging outside to in. So it's a very glancing type of blow to it. Tiger's is coming a little inside, almost inside to out. That's why his ball starts to the right. And then he releases it, and the ball draws back to the target. Excuse me. So, in order to improve your consistency, we have to get this club more on plane. The reasons why your club is over here, again, your face is open. As a result of your face being open, you start to aim left. So, to a large degree, it's this far outside because that's kind of where you're aiming. Your body's going or aiming to the left here. As a result, that's kind of the direction your club will swing. So a large part of that is your alignment. But again, your alignment's off because your club face. So we need to change that club face position or angle, and then we're going to do that at setup with your grip. Kind of cuts across it. As a result, kind of very flat-footed here at impact. Club is swinging into you, so you're kind of dead-legged there. So again, kind of big power leaks and certainly a very weak glancing blow to the ball as a result. Tiger up to a full balance finish. You get there to a pretty good position itself, although it's just a little bit kind of too late. So just in a quick summary in terms of what we need to do with this full swing here, we definitely need to get that left hand, turn that left hand a little bit more on top, get that V there formed by your thumb and index finger to go to your right shoulder, to have it at least matching up with your right hand there, which is pretty good. This setup position here, not bad overall, but you can definitely see how your spine and the angle that it creates gets you set up slightly in front of the ball. And that's also another kind of a weak position there. We're going to add a little more tilt to your spine, getting the spine to lean away a little bit more, setting your shoulders at a little steeper angle. That, again, will majorly help you swing inside to out. When you get that spine angle tilted to the target, it will swing outside to in. From this angle, in terms of how your posture looks, pretty good. But we know your alignment is pretty significantly to the left here. So we're going to get you to square up a little bit more. And then the main club head, in terms of how we're going to get the club swing, we have to get that club swinging more on plane. At this position here in the swing, that club head should be almost on your hands. And so that's going to be the major work that we're going to need to do here in school. what we did is we went out there, we worked on your setup, worked on your grip a little bit. We definitely have your left hand a little bit more on top. As a result, I could see a fair amount of that logo. You can see here in this picture here how that V now goes up to your right shoulder. Somewhere between the right ear and the right shoulder would be ideal. That looks pretty good there. You can see a decent amount of logo there with the left glove. Over here, really none of it, maybe just a sliver. See, the biggest difference we see here with the setup is that now you're set up a little bit more behind. It's going to work much better. Before, again, this is the first swing here on the left. Not particularly a very big turn. Upper body kind of stays on top of the ball. Here, now we're getting to a much bigger coil. The things we talked about with Tiger here, having the spine lean away from the target, not so much up and down. Now you can see the shoulder, the right shoulder you saw with Tiger, getting more behind you. So a much stronger coil, a much deeper turn. Very important for swinging the club more inside to out, as we saw that other angle. Awesome coil here. This is the idea. So a large degree, we didn't really talk about turning more. We just got your angle set up a little bit more and got your tilt more, which there is more conducive to a bigger, stronger coil. Much better windup, much more powerful, much more dynamic here. As you came down here, we can see your arms, not very much extension in there. Glove on top, broken down, weight kind of hanging back over here on the left as you come through. That would be your impact. So we start to see a little bit more of a solid compression line here. Left arm, left wrist pretty straight, flat there. You see that compression line with your left arm in the club. Pretty much ideal. That's what we're looking for. Over here, much more broken down, much more bent. Hands are more forward at impact. You're de-lofting and compressing the ball off the ground. As you went through, there's that breakdown again over here. Much more over, much more of a released position right here. This is what we're looking for. This will add the right to left curve to it as opposed to the left to right swing here. This is equivalent to a top, kind of a forehand topspin shot in tennis or in ping pong. Here is a cut lob shot. Much more powerful. See much better body movement through the ball. Weight starting to get into the left leg. Some air underneath the right heel. Excellent. Very flat-footed. Very kind of static looking position here. Nice taller, higher finish. Even in this, you can see how there's weight all the way onto your right toe now. Over here, still a significant amount of weight here. Much better. That's what we're looking for. Again, what enabled us to do that? Better tilt, which allowed to a better coil, which got the club more behind you. Club swinging inside to out. Look at the difference here in terms of how the right arm. We spoke a lot in the school about the position of this right arm here at impact, or just prior to impact here. And you can see I have some space here. Again, over here, the first swing, we know that's swinging outside to in. This one is swinging more inside to out. And that's a huge deal there. It makes a massive difference here in the contact and the direction and the distance. Okay, from this angle here, Don, we really talked about how your alignment was set. We have this red line on the ground helping you align yourself properly to the target. Always a good idea when you're practicing lay-some shift on making sure. It's very hard to check our alignments without having something on the ground, something you would see pretty much every pro do as he practices on the range before he hits some balls is lay down some clubs. Lay one outside the ball for your target line in that fashion there, and then lay another one down on your feet that should be parallel left to your target line to check your feet, your knees, your hips, your arms, and your shoulders. Much better here on the right in terms of your setup. Again, the big key we were talking about here, what we had to do was have that club swing a little bit more on plane coming down. Over here, a little inside, swings way outside the target line. Almost impossible to hit consistent shots from that position there. Up here on the top, as we come down on the right, now you're swinging the club slightly inside to out. I mean, that's a massive change right there. That might be three feet of difference right there. The thing that I see beside the club head the most glaringly obvious is that your right arm. If you look how your right arm is a little bit more tucked into your side right here, in front of your hip. Out here, it's way out. The right arm works away from your body, so will the club. Another checkpoint that we talked about, coming down, at this point, we call this the delivery position. This club is pointing slightly right of your target. That's the direction the club will swing in. That's the direction we want the ball to start in. That's ideal right there. Over here, no doubt where that's going. No doubt that's why that ball would start way left of your target. So this is a good look right here. Again, to a large degree, what allowed us to swing that club more inside to out was A, your alignment, certainly B, getting the face more square, and then just the idea of swinging more inside to out, having that right elbow a little bit closer tucked to you. Now you can see that club swings underneath that plane to outside that plane. Over here, it's outside to in. As a result, over here on the left, you can see that kind of left arm or left elbow exit first, almost like that chicken wing or broken down look that we saw from that face angle. Over here, you see the club exit first. Again, on plane. Matches up with that plane there again. Ideal. Other benefits of swinging inside down, you start to get your lower body more involved. Here, there's weight left. You're flat-footed. Here, you're starting to use your lower body. Much better, much fuller, higher finish, more extension. This swing over here will work. You know, we took a couple pictures here of your putting, just to kind of look at how your stroke worked. We know your full swing worked a little bit outside to in, and as a result, we see with your putter, kind of works a little outside, tends to cut across a little bit. This putt started on line, but you can definitely see that same shape to your putter working a little bit outside to in or across it. What we did to kind of clean that up a little bit was put a board down here, just on the inside of your putter here. And we have that putter working a little bit more straight back to straight through. More straight back, straight through. Again, things we could do with that to help that. You could lay a shaft down on the ground and get yourself to swing parallel to it, not cutting so outside to in. Same idea. Again, I just wanted to put a couple pictures of Tiger. I just want you to watch his stroke right here. Particularly, I want you to watch kind of how his head moves in this shot. Look at his head, how still his head and his knees and his legs stay in this shot right here. Literally no movement. He hits, holds, then looks. Hits, holds, then looks. Everything is very steady. Again, a lot of different putters do a lot of different things out there. They're all very good putters, but they all stay very steady with the head. Not much movement going on there. You know, if we take a look at how your head moves and your motion of it, pretty good setup. Grip looks good. Stance looks good. And look how much movement there with the head you have. Very difficult to get solid, consistent contact with that head moving that much. Again, kind of just to put you side by side here. Take a look at the two. I mean, you're looking, your head's moving before the putter even hits the ball. You can forget about making a lot of putts having that type of motion there. So just focusing on keeping your head more steady, keeping it down, not moving it, listening for the ball to go into the hole. Just too much movement. Your head moves your shoulders, arms are attached to your shoulders, club's in your hands. The club will also move in some awkward angles. Why does your putter move outside in and cut across it? I think a lot of it has to do with the excessive body motion there. It's a whole bunch of movement. Focusing, keeping that head steady. Your arms look pretty good. Watch how he hits and holds, and you kind of hit and almost recoil. Hit, hold, look. Hit, hold, and look.